All right, guys. We are back home today. Hope you guys are going good today. Hold on, let me refresh this. Hope you guys are going good today. Hold on, let me refresh this. Can y'all hear me? How's the volume? Volume should be good. Let me know. What's up, Ray, JP, G-Man, Van, Guy, Beach Bum, Faye, Taker. What's up, chat? Oh, we're back home. Oh, man. I'm just glad to be home. Tesla all the way down to 380s now, man. After dipping pretty heavily yesterday after bad delivery numbers, underwhelming delivery numbers, lower than expected delivery numbers. We've got the SPY gapping up slightly here, but it fell a lot yesterday too. We can look at QQQ. Fell a lot yesterday. You know, AMD, Nvidia. All of these are relatively down over the last few days, although Nvidia didn't do too bad yesterday. Let's look at a 15-minute chart. Yeah, Nvidia, I mean, it's been downtrending, but it's starting to come back right now, so we'll see if it holds. What's up, Keith? Big day? Is it really? What do we have going on today? We don't really have much going on. Do we? I mean, we got ISM PMI at 10. But outside of ISM PMI, I don't think we have much. I think I drink some coffee. We got Barkin speaking. Yeah, we don't really have much going on today. It's kind of flat, no earnings. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin at 97s. That's not too bad here. It's doing some things. QSI. I mean, it's a penny play. I don't really mess with it too much, but it's up a lot. It looks good, you know. Oh, dude, I hate the airport, man. Yeah, I absolutely hate the airport, dude. Like, the airport, oh, man, dude, it was such a mess, man. So, like, I told this story, but we go to the airport. Our flight was at like 11:50. We get to the airport at like 9:30. Right, like we got like 2 hours 20 minutes to get there, right? Plenty of time. Plenty of time usually to get through security, like all that good stuff. We walk into that security room in the TSA room, and we couldn't move. If I walked 6 inches in front of me, I'm running into somebody. Just chaotic. Those tornadoes that we had in Texas took out everybody's flights, and it was just chaotic. It takes us, you know, the line was out the door, right? So the line was literally out the door. And so I'm sitting there, you know, and I'm wearing my Omega watch, right? Because I don't want to wear any other watches there because it's the freaking airport. But some dude with Clear comes up to me, sees my watch, says, "Hey, nice watch," and then asks me if I want to skip the line. And so Carol and I are like, sure, like we'll pay whatever, like let us skip this line because we don't want to miss our flight. And so they bring us over and they get us signed up with Clear and like all this stuff. And then we finally get through. We get to our board. We get to our flight 20 minutes early. And they had already given away our seats to somebody else. And the lady that did it, like you could tell, she just had no freaking empathy. Like she was mean to us about it. She's like, "Where were you guys?" We're like, "Hey, we're 20 minutes early. Like, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh, well, your seats are gone." And it's like, so you gave away our seats even though we were on time, is what you're trying to say. And then she just had a terrible attitude because she knew that was right? Like, she knew that was true. I'm pretty stoic in moments like that. I don't yell. I just kind of sit there and deal with it. But, like, man, dude, the freaking airport. We ended up spending 14 hours at the airport. We found another flight that left at 9, and this is again at like noon, right? So we spent 9 hours there, and then they delayed our flight to 11:30. So just a freaking mess, dude. I don't ever want to see an airport again. Really, next week school? Solana moving. We're getting some snow tonight. John, did you have a look at QSI? I'm looking at QSI. It's kind of a penny stock. But it's a quantum stock, and maybe if you want exposure to quantum stuff, that's one of the options. The only problem is if the bubble bursts, you're going to be sitting on some losses with that thing. But, you know, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it holds. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. It wasn't really that bad. Like, we found a good spot on the floor and just watched movies. Yeah, first month of the year. We might get some craziness. I don't know. This isn't, I mean, look, guys, these pullbacks are not anything huge yet. Of course, bears are constantly looking for a reason to say they were right. But, like, dude, look at this. You can literally see this here. Like, look at this. Like, look at that. We're still on the same trend we've been in on the SPY since April, May. Yeah, it's not looking like... I mean, the thing about it is, guys, like, we can't pump up like this and then have, like, a normal, like, trend correction pullback here and act like it's the end of the world yet, right? I'm actually green in my portfolio today. My portfolio is actually up some. So we'll see what happens, but it's too early to say this is some downfall. Like, I don't know how many people have come here and every little dip, they're like, oh, it's the downfall. Here it comes. And then it just doesn't. And then, you know. And so I'm not as quick to jump on board with that type of thing. Yeah, we'll lose 10% pullback a year. Things can't rip all the time. Right, sometimes it does more than that. Let me pull Discord up. Haven't pulled it up yet. So Carvana had a Hindenburg article come out about it. It's dipping down some. When did that Hindenburg article come out? Had to be around here. Midday yesterday. Sounds right. Hindenburg said it had poured over documents and interviewed former Carvana employees, experts, and competitors over 4 months, uncovering $800 million in loan sales to suspected undisclosed related parties, along with details on how accounting manipulation and lax underwriting have fueled temporary reported income growth, all while insiders cash out billions in stock, is what they said. When's Jimmy Carter Day gonna be? I know they said that they were gonna do a national day of mourning or something for him. Rest in peace, you know. I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of his policies, I think, but I think he genuinely tried to do good, and I think that's a good thing, even if I disagree with him. Oh man, ice and snow coming in, huh? Let me do a poll here, guys. Let's do one. RGTI. Yeah, I mean, it's going. It's a quantum stock. It's making some moves. Very good chart. It's just up too much for me to want to buy it. It's just up from too much for me to want to buy it. From a fundamental macro perspective, this is when it would happen. Credit card, auto, commercial, real estate, residential, student loan delinquencies. It's a disaster. Yeah, maybe. But I mean, commercial real estate's been crashing for 5+ years now. You know, most of the things, like, okay, auto, some real estate, they're correcting some from years of dovish Fed policy, right? So we had dovish low interest rate Fed policy for years to try to save us from the pandemic, essentially. And then following that, the Fed played the other side of it where they raised rates aggressively. And so those are, you know, getting affected by higher interest rates and a more hawkish Fed. And so, you know, that's kind of normal right now, I think. And I don't necessarily think it means things have to crash. Although, again, I'm going to say this again. I do think we're due for a correction. And again, people call me a perma bull. They act like I just say the market goes straight up. I'm not really buying up anything big right now. I'm just not. I just don't like it enough right now. I don't think it's the opportune time right now. I'd rather wait a couple months, let that pass. Even if I miss out on some potential gains, you know, spidey sense is kind of popping out for me. And I just don't want to get stuck if we do correct. You know, the market is up. I don't even know if we, I think we could have a little bear market for a little while. I think the market's up over 100% in the NASDAQ in the year. The only thing that might change this is quantum computing, because quantum stocks have been ripping lately, you know, and one of the reasons we've got this last run was from AI stocks, right? And so typically when that mania settles a little bit, that's when we have these little bear markets, corrections, you know, pullbacks. But quantum is kind of taking its place, to be honest here, and so quantum stocks have started to pop off, and so it's not 100% surety that we're going to correct. It's not. Now, I'm not buying up anything. I'm not confident enough to buy up a lot of stuff right now. Anything I do buy, I'm just going to dollar cost average long term into and try to get past the volatility. But I'm going to wait and see if we can get some more optimistic looks before I buy up stuff. And I've been saying that for months now, just because I just don't trust it right now. Well, yeah, well, a lot of cars are failing is because during the auto inflation market after the pandemic, following the 2020 craziness, uh, people were acting for a few years like cars were appreciating assets, right? And you had a bunch of people, a bunch of entrepreneurs, is what I'm going to call them, that jumped right in there and started acting like they could flip cars and profit from car flipping. And what they're now finding is that a lot of the cars that they bought for 30-40% over normal, like average list price, they're having a hard time getting rid of. And so some of them, especially in like loaned vehicles, like financed vehicles, they're finding that they're stuck with sticker prices that are well above what the car's actually worth. They're not able to sell them, and in turn that market is correcting a lot right now. I see a lot of videos from car salesmen online right now that talk about how a lot of people are just deep underwater, especially with the high end stuff, so that's what's going on, and that might need time to correct too. I'm not buying a new car. I don't buy new cars anyway, to be honest, though. I don't know, Kudo. It's possible, but I don't know. I'll watch for it, but I have no idea if it's going to happen or not. I think it could. It might not. I don't really know. RCAT, would you invest? I mean, it's a little cheap, to be honest, for me. If I did invest, it would be very small sums of money that I'm okay with losing. Let's look into it. RCAT is a drone tech company that integrates robotic hardware and software for military, government, and commercial ops. Through its subsidiary Teal Drones and FlightWave Aerospace, Red Cat offers a range of products, including the Teal 2, a small unmanned aircraft system designed for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. Warrants. No, I'm not investing in this. It's got under $1 billion in market cap. It's still losing money as a company. Its EPS is minus 51 cents a share. The momentum is very good for it, but in terms of like investing, I'm not investing in this. It's just too new, too young, too hyped up, too technically driven right now. And when something's this technically driven, it can correct some too. So I'm just not messing with that. Good luck. I hope you make some money in it, but it's not for me. How do you feel about shorting MicroStrategy? Their way of making money is just through Bitcoin, which wouldn't be enough. That is just an overhyped stock. Well, I mean, it depends on what you think Bitcoin's gonna do. I think Michael Saylor's a smart guy, but I think he's also pinning his stock price to the price of Bitcoin. Even if you zoom in, it doesn't move always in like a super easy correlation. I think he's pinning the stock price to the price of Bitcoin. And so shorting MicroStrategy would essentially be a short on Bitcoin. And you're going to hear different sentiments regarding that idea, right? Like a lot of people are going to tell you that's dumb. And to a certain extent, it could be, because if Bitcoin starts to do another crazy run, which is not the most predictable thing, right? Like you don't know when Bitcoin's going to break 100K and start running again. And if it does and you're shorting MicroStrategy simultaneously, you're going to be in a bad spot. I'm just not a big fan of that. I think there's easier money to make than short. The only way I would short companies, right? The only companies I would short if it was me is small overhyped companies that have gone up too much versus what they really are, right? Like you see these Peloton, Beyond Meat. You see companies like this. Those are the two examples I always use. But what I'm trying to show is like mid-cap companies that have gone up too much, that shouldn't be there. Those are the only companies I would short, and MicroStrategy's not falling into that mix. It's too pegged to the price of Bitcoin, in my opinion. Yeah. Having a subsidized EV production with the rest of the offerings has really driven the price high for the mid to low end market. Need to get back to having affordable options and not 100K SUVs. 100% agree. Absolutely agree. All right, let's do a poll here. I don't think we've done a poll yet. That's a good option, though. Would you short MicroStrategy? I am not saying I would. I gotta clarify this. Vote on that poll. Let's do a quick little poll. Would you short MicroStrategy, guys? Vote. Again, the risk is that Bitcoin starts to rip up in your face and punishes you for betting against it. You know, that's a big risk. It's not a small risk for sure. Yeah, I feel you, Drew. I get it. I'm not even saying you're wrong. But he's essentially running a type of Bitcoin ETF is what it seems to be to me. I don't think MicroStrategy does much else than hold Bitcoin. But it's been like that for a while. They've allowed him to do it. And so it is what it is. It's a Bitcoin ETF now, essentially. And so you're essentially shorting a Bitcoin ETF. Yeah. All right. Does the market correct this month? Answer in chat. We'll put that up so you guys can see it. I'll minimize this. Bring this over so we can see that like that. Yeah. It's good to be home, man. It's good to be home. With the uncertainty of a Bitcoin strategic reserve on the cards, a short would be risky. Absolutely agree. Looking at our poll options, we got a decent amount of votes already. 67% say no, they would not short MicroStrategy. I'm with you. I'm not shorting it either. But everybody's different, man. Maybe there's some, credence to it. I don't know. Oh, dude, I'm just glad to be back from Disney World, bro. Disney World, it was a mess. I ate terribly. Oh, dude, I'm not traveling for a while. I'm just glad to be home at my safe space, my computer. You know. All right, chat. Anything else moving today? Let me check the big news. All right, so let's talk about some news. As of today, we got manufacturing activity. The Institute of Supply Management is scheduled to release its manufacturing activity report today. Investors are waiting for this data for insights into the health of manufacturing, which could influence market sentiment. That's actually a pretty big thing at 10 a.m. today. We're going to cover it live as it happens. There's growing speculation about potential shifts by the Fed Reserve, including possible interest rate cuts. Such policy changes can, impact bigly in markets, affecting sectors differently based on sensitivity to interest rates. Let me look at what the current expectations are for a rate decision. I think next week we have the Fed minutes report, so that'll be an interesting report. Still pretty overwhelmingly expected at a pause. So almost 90% chance of a pause, 10% chance of a cut currently here. Tesla shares have shown a lot of activity. Specifically today, they're gapping up some, but they declined big yesterday following weaker than expected fourth quarter delivery numbers. Investors are watching their performance and any reports that might influence it. They have their earnings later this month, and so that's going to be a big report. I think Tesla reports earnings at the very end of this month. So we have U.S. Steel merger getting blocked. Reports indicate that the current president may block U.S. Steel's proposed $14 billion merger with Japan's Nippon Steel, citing national security concerns. It's led to a development in U.S. Steel and pre-market that's dropping. A lot of people have said that the market has entered what people describe as a danger zone with increased volatility and concerns about high valuations. Investors are advised to exercise caution. And I honestly kind of agree. I'm not really buying up anything right now. For somebody that calls, for somebody they call a perma bull, I'm not really buying up much right now. People act like people act like I only say the market goes up. And long term, it will go up. Right? Even right here, even if you buy right now, you'll still probably make money over the next 20 years if you buy it now, right? But I'm not telling you to do it. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable. If you lose, always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Do not copy me. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. If you copy me, you might lose. And I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades, all that good stuff. Understand it. But yeah, I think long term the market's going to go up. But short term, I think this is a little risky spot. I think NASDAQ's up over 100%. The S&P's up, 60% or something like that. 50-something, 60%. They're just up too much right now. And I'm worried about, a 6-month plus bear market is really what I'm worried about. Maybe a little bit shorter, but that's what I'm worried about. But who knows, man? Who knows? That's a good poll option. There's no unemployment claims today in U.S. dollar. There's no unemployment claims. Unemployment claims were yesterday on Thursday. They came in lower than expected at 211 versus 225 unemployment claims expected. It's called jobless claims. It dropped yesterday at 8:30 along with Tesla delivery numbers at 9 a.m. Today they don't have that. Today is nothing. The only thing that drops today at 10 a.m. is the ISM Manufacturing PMI report. This is my channel is mostly an economics report channel. We'll get thousands of people here for that stuff. Today we don't have much. We got ISM manufacturing data, which we will cover. It's at 10 a.m. It's much later. We still have 2 hours essentially until that drops. Now you're good, Forex. Just helping you out, bro. Honestly, I haven't really been watching SoFi lately, bro. It's been in a pullback like everything else, and sometimes this is the time to buy it. But again, I'm more so worried about a larger market correction. Because here's the thing, right? Earnings is coming up. Earnings season's coming up. Earnings season starts Like, usually it sparks off with bank earnings and Netflix earnings. Bank earnings on January 15th. That's less than 2 weeks away. Netflix earnings are January 21st. That's less than 3 weeks away. And so, next week, I'll put it this way. The next 3 weeks is incredibly busy, economics data, market news-wise. Why is it incredibly busy? Because next week specifically, we got the JOLTS job report. We've got ISM Services PMI. We have ADP non-farm employment change data. We've got the Fed minutes report, the FOMC minutes report on Wednesday next week. We got jobless claims, consumer sentiment, non-farm payrolls, unemployment data, all next week, right? That's just next week alone. If we look past next week to the week after that, I'm pretty sure we get CPI inflation data the week after that, right? So next week's busy. The following week, we get CPI inflation data, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we got PPI data on Tuesday, January 14th. And then Wednesday, we got CPI inflation data. And then we also have bank earnings on the 15th, right? Or 16th. So we also, in that week period, we have bank earnings. We got the Philly Fed index. We got retail sales data. Yeah, we got a whole gang of stuff. We've got, yeah. And then the week after that, we got earnings, right? So then the week after that, the week of the 20th, we might have PCE data. I don't know, though. I think that week's actually a little slow, but yeah, it's a busy 3-week period in markets, right? Then earnings peak up. We got, let me see when, we got Tesla. The other big one is like Apple, right? Apple earnings are going to be at the end of this month. Amazon earnings, end of this month. Meta earnings, end of this month. So, yeah, it'll be a busy month. January's busy. We got the interest rate decision coming through at the end of this month as well. So, yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Did you learn all of this from university or did you teach yourself? I taught myself, right? I learned a little bit of macroeconomics and stuff from school, but I mostly taught myself economics. You just got to be interested in it. If you're interested in it, you'll learn it. If you're not interested in it, it might be difficult. I've got that ADHD brain, though, so if I'm interested in something, I'm hyper-focused on it, and I become obsessed with it, and then the interest kind of dwindles for most things, right? It holds for some things, though, which is good. Still into Jiu-jitsu. Years into it, still into it, which is good. That's held my attention so far. We'll see if it continues. Yeah, no, earnings season is when we see big corrections a lot of the time and pullbacks and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really interested in buying anything up. I'm worried about earnings season. And I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait. Right. Usually I like buying up stuff. So one of my favorite strategies, and this is a strategy that people that watch my stream know, like y'all know I trade like this. Usually during earnings seasons, we might see something make like a big pullback, like a big dip, like a large dip. I usually like buying it up after that pullback. If we get something that drops 10, 15% in blue chips like Meta, Apple, Amazon, Walmart, Target, like whatever, I'm usually okay with buying that dip. During earnings season. This is an earnings season I am not necessarily excited for doing that on, because I am worried that if we do start correcting like that in blue chips, the correction might continue down. But it's also possible we get like a 10, 20, 30% correction and then start coming back up and rebounding back up. So we'll have to just watch it to see what goes on. You think the jiu-jitsu focus comes from constantly seeing the improvement in skills there as you continue to roll? I think it comes from a lot of stuff. Like, jiu-jitsu is like chess, right? And so I've always been hyper competitive. My kids are hyper competitive now too, which is good, right? And good in some ways. But I've always been incredibly competitive, especially with stuff like that. Stuff that I use my brain in, I love competing in. Even if I lose over and over again, I love doing it. And I like problem solving.
And that's what jiu-jitsu is. Jiu-jitsu is problem solving. It's, hey, this guy's better than me. How can I stop him from being better than me, right? Like, how can I beat this guy and be 2 steps ahead? And yeah, the more you do it, the better you get, the more fun it gets, right? Like, once you start to get, like, I'm almost a blue belt. You know, I don't know how much belts mean, but like, I would say I'm almost a blue belt. I'm a 4-stripe white belt, so I'm very close to blue belt. And if I really wanted to, like, pressure my coach to be like, hey, I want my blue belt, let me start testing for it, I'm sure he would. But I don't really want the blue belt yet. I might compete at white belt once just to experience it. And if so, I don't really want to be ranked up to blue belt just yet. But it's fun. It's just a lot of fun, man. And I'm in much better shape now than I've ever been. And so even my wife, she's like, John, you're looking different. And so it'll get you in shape too. I've seen people that started that were like kind of like, chubby, had a gut, a little bit heavier, and then they do jiu-jitsu for 6 months and they're like lean, like, strong. And so it'll get you in shape too, because you don't realize you're exercising. It's so much like there's a game to it. And so you kind of oblivious to the exercise that you're putting in sometimes, at least. You're tired after rolls, but you're having fun, I guess, is the point. So you don't notice it as much. So how much of your portfolio would you keep in crash to reinvest during those times? I don't know. I'm depending on what the stock is, if we start to correct, I'll probably start adding to positions slowly, very, very slowly, like in incredibly small increments. But I'll probably still add, but it's going to be very slowly, very small. And it's going to be something that, like, if we keep dipping, it's not going to be the end of the world. Once we hit a point, though, that's probably when I'll start buying a little bit more. So it just depends on what I see in that moment. Ugh, coffee's good. Yeah, exercise, movement, releases endorphins, 100%. Yeah, we're going to stream the full ISM Manufacturing PMI release, 100%. Let me put that up on screen here, too. All right, so it's expected today at, ISM PMI data is expected at 48%. There we go. Well, that sucks. Mama Pawn. Yeah, it really is a great, like, it's fun. And the cool thing about it is that you could start late, right? Like, I started in my mid-30s. And so, like, early to mid-30s, right? So you could start late and and still do well. Like, I started in my 30s and I still, like, I would say maybe it's just my ego, which is possible. I would say I'm better than a lot of the white belts at the gym, but I'm also more experienced and I train more. And so, like, point is, even if you're a little bit older like me, you can still do it and, like, have a lot of fun. Now, you're not going to go out there and beat the freaking juiced up monsters in competition, really, and at least in the younger brackets. But, they do what's called, like, the Masters division. So I can go compete against a bunch of 30-year-old white belts. And I think I'd do pretty good against them. But I'd definitely lose to the juiced up 20-year-old competition pro jiu-jitsu white and blue belts for sure. Top Step X is great. If you're going to use it, Top Step X, 0 commission is what's so good about Top Step X. Again, I'll put the link up if anybody wants to check it out. Top Step X just has 0 commission, no PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell Gold, some currencies. They give you a demo, test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, the base one is $49, and so your risk is limited. Most day traders lose, and so you got a limited risk. You can learn how to trade. You're still risking something, so it's not just like a regular base paper account. It comes with real-time data, and if you pass the test that they give you, which is you got to make 3K without losing 2K with a 50K demo account. If you pass that test, they fund you 50K, 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K in profit as well. So it's the best of both worlds. Limited risk at $50 a month, 90% split. First 10K you get to keep if you get funded, similar to funding your own account. And if you're good enough, you could withdraw and then fund your own account once you build up some profit. And again, they've paid out over $150 million in the last 4 years. They've been around for over 12 years. And again, the big thing is zero commission in Top Step X, right? Like that's the biggest edge in funding, zero commission. And patterns in day trading futures are very similar to patterns in day trading stocks. Subtle differences, but they're very similar. There's the link if you want to check it out. They are an affiliate of mine. I am biased in their favor. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. If you copy me, you'll probably lose. Do not copy me. I do trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. All that good stuff here. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin at 97s. I'm still sitting on a small piece of the BITO ETF. But I don't know what I want to do with that thing. I could add to it. I told people remember what I told people I thought Bitcoin was going to do? I told people I thought Bitcoin was going to consolidate in the 90s indefinitely, right? And this was after Bitcoin started breaking 100K. I told people exactly what I thought would happen, which was I thought it would break 100K, eventually dip down to the 90s, and then consolidate there for an extended period of time. And that's exactly what it did. It went down in the 90s. It's held here. I think that makes sense for it to gather steam. Okay, I got to change this song. I don't know what this song is. I like the music on Epidemic Sounds, but like every now and then they'll throw in a song that's just not sensical, right? Like it doesn't fit with the theme of the playlist. It's a bunch of squirrels arguing or something. I don't know. Yeah. Top Step X is web-based, which means that you don't have to download a software if your computer doesn't have the most, the most processors. You can always just use the web and do it. It's more memory intensive, but I like it. Hey, congrats, check. Hey, congrats, brother. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can use Top Step X in Austria. I'm not 100% sure, though. I would check with them, as in everything. Yeah, I mean, most of the time in Jiu-jitsu, they do full force, right? Like, I regret when I first got started, right? Like, I'm pretty athletic. I'm not going to say I'm the most athletic person, but I'm pretty athletic. And so, pretty quickly, I started. And there's a lot of, older belts there that have been there for a while, right? Within a couple months, I was beating some of them. And so I had, this false sense of confidence. One of the things I regret is that we would have, trial guys come in, and nobody ever told me. I remember confirming with my coaches multiple times, hey, am I supposed to go 100%? And they would be like, no, you're a white belt, go 100%. And so I'd say, okay, and I would just, we'd have trial guys show up or whomever, and and are brand new, white belts. Part of the issue is that they want to sound cool, right? So when you ask them, you're like, hey, how much experience do you have? Because if they're brand new, you're not just going to punish them, right? You're not going to just go full steam at them. Most of the time, they never want to tell you, hey, I'm brand spanking new, right? They're never going to tell you that. They're going to say, oh, yeah, I've trained a little bit here and there, even if they never have. And in that situation, I don't know if they realize what they're saying. They're basically saying, hey, don't hold back against me. And so I regret going just heavy with people. You learn as you get better. Anyways, Bitcoin at 97s. SPY at 580s. Yeah, thank you, Digital. Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything. I've done a little bit of Muay Thai touch sparring. One of my main training partners trained Muay Thai in Thailand. And so him and I have sparred. And it's good for just learning timing, is what you realize. Touch sparring, right? You're not putting your hips in it, but it's fun too. I really like it. I gotta train Muay Thai more. Tesla's first year of declining sales, bad news for a stock that is 111 PE ratio. I don't think it's that bad, is it? Let me see. Let me see. Is it really that bad? All right. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad. I'm gonna look up. I'm gonna manually search for Tesla's PE ratio here. All right, so let's take a look. Tesla here. You're saying it's 111. All right, so let's take a look. So their last earnings dropped on the 23rd of October. They showed 72-cent EPS plus 52 cents EPS plus 45 cents EPS plus 71 cents EPS. All right, they showed $2.4 yearly EPS, right? So they're at 380. You might be right. That seems about right, actually. Divided by 2.4 year. They actually have worse than that. They've got 158 EPS. So Tesla's EPS is not, or Tesla's PE ratio is not good. Yeah, this is not good. And so, yeah, I mean, I do agree Tesla does not have the best PE ratio. Now, just to put this into perspective, right, here is Tesla's PE ratio number. This number, ideally, you want this number to be like, in a perfect world, you want like 15. You know, you'll see most healthy companies and markets, they've got currently a PE ratio of like 20 to 40. Like you look at like Meta or Apple, most of the time that's where their PE ratio sits. And so 158 is not good. Not good at all. This is a 12-month trailing PE ratio. But yeah, that's just not good for Tesla. They've gone up so much. But maybe their revenues will catch up. Let me see what they're expecting next here for Tesla. So Tesla EPS graph, they're expecting 65 cents. 65 cents for Tesla. Yeah, they're expecting 65 cents. Yeah, I'm looking at, I think they dropped the 25th. Oh, they drop it January 29th. Okay. Yeah, so Tesla expecting 65-cent profit. It's not that good. It's not that good. I thought they were better than that, to be honest, but declining in sales year over year. I mean, it's all good. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just checking these numbers. All right, so here's Tesla's revenue graph. All right, so here's Tesla's revenue graph. I mean, their revenue's still going up. Right? Like, if you look at if you look at it, they're still going up. Now, they might be declining year over year. This doesn't show that. So this shows 2024, they're at 97.15. Last time they were at 95.31. And so technically, like, they're not quite declining year over year. They're kind of bottoming it out. But yeah. We'll see. Their revenue still looks good, though. I don't know if that's a knock on them yet, to be honest. But maybe. I don't freaking know. Well, if you factor in inflation, everything's going down, guy. Right? Like, that's kind of a cheat. You know, like if you factor in inflation, everything's freaking dropping, brother. You know, that's why you invest in Tesla or whatever to begin with, right? You invest to hedge against that inflation drop. You know, I get it. You know, like people might want to make it seem as bad as it can be, but it's not. Their revenue's not dropping year to year. anything that you factor into inflation is going to be down over the last 5 years. Like the last 5 years have kind of been out there with the pandemic and quantitative easing and hyperinflation and then hawkish Fed and then all the different stuff that happened. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree that their PE ratio is way too freaking high, honestly. And we'll see if they catch that up. But I disagree on their revenues declining year over year. And that graph still looks pretty good to me, personally. And I think that's, like, to put it into perspective for everybody at home, EPS, which is what PE is really reading. PE is reading price to earnings, right? Like how much they're making versus what their share price is. In that regard, Tesla's share price is really high, right? But their PE ratio is over 100. It's like 150 that I show when I calculated it. 150 is pretty freaking high. Now, there's GAAP implications, which is generally accepted accounting principles that might influence what it really is or not, but it's still pretty high, right? That is absolutely true. So their margins, they're pretty high right now. Or they're pretty low. They're bad. They're not good. They're looking weak, price to earnings. But their revenue's still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty strong. And sometimes companies take hits in their margins because they have to kind of like reinvest in their future. They've got to spend money to make money. They've got to build certain things. You see like companies like Amazon do this a few years ago when they were really high PE ratio wise. They were sky high PE ratio wise. They had a year or two. They invested in Rivian and lost some money. And they were just trying to do some stuff. And yeah, it was bad for a year. And then eventually they brought their margins up. They started killing it again. And now Amazon's doing great. They're still, I don't know how high they are PE ratio wise now, but the point is, it doesn't mean it's like a death sentence for Tesla, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think in chat. No, jobless claims don't come out today. Today's Friday. Jobless claims dropped yesterday. No jobless claims today, guys. Anybody telling you jobless claims came out today is not true. I think, right? Yeah, Thursday, January 2nd is when it came out. It came in at 211, the lowest level since March. Yeah, but my point, Guy and Van, I understand what you're trying to say with inflation. I'm not even saying you're necessarily wrong. It's just a preference, I think, in calculating and analyzing things. I'm always really weary to calculate inflation into stuff like this because I think inflation's always going to swing upward and downward, right? But that's true over the last 10 years when you look at historical revenue graphs as well. So I don't know. I'm not going to calculate that into it yet. And, again, I'm just not the type that's going to short the healthiest companies in the world, right? Like, it's just not my style. And you might be right. Like, I don't like the PE ratio for Tesla, but I think I like Tesla. And the reason I like Tesla is because regardless of any of this fundamental stuff right now, I think the future is going to be full self-driving, fully autonomous vehicles. And I think once it starts, it's going to snowball domino-like effect into a huge, huge thing for the future of automotive technology. And I think Tesla's on the very front of that. And I think Tesla's going to be the one to do it originally. And that's going to make them get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I think that is something that's very true. It might be years and years away, but that is something that's very true. And so, yeah, I still like Tesla. But it's had a massive pullback. It's been incredibly volatile. I don't know if now's the time to buy it or not. I mean, on a technical perspective, the dip buy looks kind of good right now. But at the same time, you don't ever freaking know with Tesla. That thing might go crazy, might go down, might go up. What's crazy yesterday when it was chopping and ranging, I ended up making more on Top Step Combine. I wanted to lose some profits from 6 to 3. Every time I attempted to lose, I made. I've honestly been in that scenario. Usually anytime I've made too much, I've been able to find a way to lose, right? So, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some fun though in Disney World, man. Y'all want to see some pictures? Doge chart. Why do you think it's pumping? I don't know. Look how tired I was, dude, at this park. Also, I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I went to Disney World. Bro, I can't be completely honest with you guys about where I go, when I'm flying, anything like that. Y'all know I'm about to lie to you guys. I went to Disney World, though. Yeah, I'll show you guys. Yeah, I went to Orlando, Disney World, not Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World. Disney World's cool. Never been to Orlando. Never been to Cali though for it. So. It was a cool trip though. I had my fanny pack going. All right, guys. SPY bouncing up. Nvidia's one to watch though. Nvidia's just under 140. My favorite's got to be Hollywood Studios, like Tower of Terror, Rocket Roller Coaster, Star Wars. Right, like that's my favorite. That's the best three. What the heck did I just click? Oh, there we go. All right. Gold taking a hit. Yeah, so. I get to day trade the open today, man. Honestly, I haven't day traded the open in the last 3 days. I'm sorry. Look how tired I was, though. I don't know. I was tired, dude. Disney World takes it out of you. And, like, we had it made. We had the VIP people, so we got to skip everybody most of the time. But in Disney World, you get tired. You get tired. You know. Oh, all right. You know, I'm glad to be home. I was ready. It was time. It was definitely time. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna.
362 for Tesla buy. Maybe. We'll see. What's your best psychology advice? Kill them with kindness. Honestly, that's the best thing you could do, right? You got to have a difficult conversation with somebody. Be super, super nice to them. Say, hey, you know, if it's a friend, you could be like, hey, you're a great friend. I appreciate you, you know. You're a great friend to have. I appreciate you so much, or whatever you want to say. But, you know, you're out of line here, blah, 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 right? You do that first. That's the best move. Because if not, if you come at them heavy out the gate, it's going to cause problems in the interaction. So be nice to people first, and then hit them with some difficult conversations if you need to. All right. NVIDIA's still up there. Whew, man, I'm glad to be home, though, man. That trip took it out of me. And we're going to day trade live. We got ISM Manufacturing PMI coming live today. I'm ready. Based on the charts and technical analysis, there was a couple of head and shoulders. I've been loving head and shoulders patterns too. Like, those have been some of my favorite technical moves. It's just head and shoulders stuff, man. That's what I've been trading a lot. We're going to get ready to day trade the market open as well here. So, again, we've been going on this kick of learning to trade larger here, guys. And I know I'll probably lose. Like, I built the strategies, and now that I got the strategies packed, now the next step is just to get used to larger size, right? And so I'm starting it with micro contracts first, but yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and honestly, the princess is Cinderella's castle. He's got some great food, bro. Great food, you know. So does Le France, or whatever the France restaurant is. That was good, too. How much downtrend can the charts handle before it's considered a bear? I mean, bear usually just means red. I don't know. Let's look this up, right? This is where AI comes in handy. In the stock market, the following thresholds define a market correction or a bear market. A market correction is a decline of 10% or more from a recent peak. Corrections are also often seen as temporary pullbacks in an upward trend. Okay, so in that regard, if we look at this and we zoom in here, we can take a look at like the S&P, the SPX here is what we'll pull up. Let's put up a 30-minute chart. Let's put up a daily chart here. So here's the S&P 500, right? It was at about 6,100 here. 6,100. So if we're at 6,100,
and we drop down to 58.60. We have dropped about 4% from recent highs. 4%, right? So the S&P, not even a correction, not even a bear market yet. Right now, the QQQ, a little bit larger. It went from 540, and it dropped all the way down to 510. You know, so it's down almost 6%, but neither of these are correction bear markets yet. Now, some of these individual stocks are, right? Like some of these individual stocks certainly are, but not yet here. We're not there yet. Carvana had a Hindenburg short report article that came out for it. Right, so if you look at Carvana up here, it had a Hindenburg report that basically said they thought it was sketchy, essentially. Where's that at, Cal? Did you cash in some 401k to afford that Disney trip? No, I mean, no, I didn't, you know. Magic Kingdom. Yeah, Magic Kingdom. That's a cool place too, man. That's like the nostalgic place, right? I'm trying to think of the rides at Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom had Magic Kingdom has like the Slinky Dog, Splash Mountain, you know, Space Mountain, Tron. Tron was the coolest ride there, in my opinion. If you get on the very front of Tron, like the first seat, that's the coolest ride in the park. Tron. All right, so we got this dip to that 200 exponential moving average. We're at 2120s right now, 2120s, 2111s. You had doubt about it too? About what? About Carvana? Yeah, I don't really like Carvana just based off of how much it's up, dude. This thing was at 350s a few years ago. Now it's at $200. Like, I'm not touching that. I'm not buying that. It's up to way too much. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's the perfect age to pawn, right? For Disney. Yeah, for sure. That's the perfect age for it, too. All right. My son's 10. He loved it. All right, chat. Again, we got the opening bell coming soon. All right, and we got ISM Manufacturing PMI data coming out, chat. So... we got ISM data coming through here, chat. Oh, yeah, ISM Manufacturing PMI. Get this rolling here. All right, chat. So that out. We're gonna day trade the opening bell live, 2 chats, so be ready. We got the New York Open. We're going to be day trading futures this morning.
Okay, there we go. Got to get our day trading in. All right, so we should be good. ISM PMI coming through today. 10 a.m. for this labor report. We're right at the 200 exponential moving average here. We are trying to take larger size. Yeah, that's the perfect age, right? My daughter's 15, and so she's just, I mean, she had fun. She was like, my daughter's the perfect age for her to ride with me, right? Like, my daughter can be my daughter was like my buddy the whole time, right? I sat next to her almost every ride. She's always been kind of like my ride buddy. Yeah, the gift shops, I mean, I don't mind spending. I already knew I was going to spend some money. I've spent so much money the last 2 months, I got to let my bank account heal. You know, it's going to take a month or so for my bank account to heal. We just had Christmas, Disney trip, Baton Rouge trip. Now it's time to let my bank account heal a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, we got ISM data that's coming out today. This big labor report. I don't know. I'm not buying Carvana. What are your thoughts on the SPY going back to all-time highs by January 10th? I think it's incredibly unlikely, but possible nonetheless, right? Just not the most probable, but possible. It could happen, right? Like if we start to spark a bull run, you know, it would have to be driven by next week's economic reports. If that stuff's going to happen, right? Like next week we got the JOLTS report. If that number comes in good, like low, or no, if that number comes in high, showing a strong labor market, maybe. If next week's, you know, ISM services data shows a strong services sector, if the Fed minutes has a positive reaction, if ADP non-farm employment data shows up good, if jobless claims show up low, and then on Friday, you know, we get good employment payroll data numbers, sure, that could happen, right? But it would take the perfect storm of bullish catalysts, and I don't necessarily think, we don't usually get a perfect storm like that, but it's possible, you know, it's possible, maybe, we'll see. All right, you guys ready? Yeah, and look how choppy the market is, right? Look at this. So the market's been choppy really since yesterday. Hasn't really done much. Like, look at the sideways catalyst here. If you're wondering why I'm not really trading a ton right now, you know, the last like 3 days I haven't really been here for the open. I've been on vacation in Disney World with my family, and like I'm pretty reliable here, so I still streamed most days and still covered any big economic report. Like yesterday, we had Tesla deliveries that we covered, we had jobless claims that we covered, but I would cut out after that because you know, look, to be frank, Disney World's just too freaking expensive to burn another hour or two covering the market open, right? Like I just couldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very clearly talking about the chop, the context of the chop over the last half a day, right? Of course, the market dumped heavy yesterday. Obviously, what I'm saying is that we have chop like this now, currently, right? And again, it's silly when people do this. I see people do this all the time. I'll be like, hey, this morning the market's choppy. And they'll be like, nah, man, the market dropped 500 points yesterday. It was like, well, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. Clearly, you know. Or it'll be like, the market, I'll zoom in, and the market over a 30-minute period will move up after moving down. And I'll be like, hey, the market's moving up. And they'll be like, nah, the market moved down 7 hours ago. And it's like, well, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about, guys. Come on now. When are you going back to Top Step TV? I'm not sure. It's been a holiday couple weeks here. Probably sometime soon, but I'm not sure. I'll have to email one of them. Maybe I can. I've been scaling up my size. Maybe that's the time to hop on the show. Hey, thanks, Thomas. MicroStrategy will make more millionaires and billionaires. $1 trillion cap coming soon. Yeah, somebody asked me earlier whether I should short it. And so we did the poll. So far, 58% say no. 42% say yes. What's up, Sam? Yeah, so I'm not one to want to short MicroStrategy, specifically just because, like, specifically because a short on MicroStrategy would basically be a short on Bitcoin, and I'm not going to short Bitcoin after it broke all-time highs over 100,000 and is sitting just underneath that, right? Now, maybe it could work, but it's not the biggest edge trade that you could get into. I'm just not going to mess with that. No, that's a great number, Sam. Good job, bro. Oh, yeah, for sure. If I had traded till, especially considering, like, it was an Eastern time, right? And so in Orlando, it's an Eastern time. And so, yeah. So basically, I got to wake up an hour later in Orlando, technically. But if I would have waited until 10 a.m., the parks were going to be so crowded. They were already hectic. And it's not too bad. Like, we had the VIP guides, which are great. They'll take you, like, backstage behind the park. You'll skip through a lot of the traffic. They'll pop you out right by the ride you're going on. They'll let you skip the line and go in front. It's really cool experience. Really, really cool experience. So it wasn't as bad as it could. We literally rode every single major ride at Disney World. We rode Guardians of the Galaxy at least 4 or 5 times. We rode Tron twice. We rode Rock and Roller Coaster once. We rode Tower of Terror once. We rode all the Star Wars rides, the Smuggler's Run, and the Millennium Falcon, and then the other one where you get captured by the Resistance, or no, by the Empire, basically, whatever they call themselves now. We rode Everest, which is like a backwards roller coaster. We rode all of them. Really cool experience, to be honest. Way better. When I was a kid, it was never like that. Like, I remember waiting in line for 2 hours as a kid. The Avatar ride was cool, man. The one where you ride the dragon. I kept calling it the dragon. My family got mad. They're like, it's not a dragon, it's a banshee. You know? No, the dragon ride was cool. Yeah, the Star Wars areas. That was my favorite. I'm a Star Wars person, you know. All right, guys. Yeah, so we're still in chop, right? We're still in chop. I want a short. It looks like a good short, but you know what? I'm gonna short this here. We're gonna take a couple contracts here short. There's one. We'll add. We're trying to work on larger size, but we are in early pre-market sessions, so we're not gonna be too aggressive here. We'll add to this now that we're deeply in the green already.
We're in 3 contracts. Let's see if we can take more. We're going to double our size here. And just get punished, I guess. Definitely not loving life right here. Now we're kind of flat. I'm going to take half of this off just as risk management. I don't want to get stuck losing, 50, 100 bucks already this early. So I'm going to take half of that off. I think it could come back down. And so I don't want to like be too overzealous with my exit here. But I'm going to risk management and take half of it off. And see, there we go. We're right back. I could have made a little bit more money here, but the risk isn't worth it to me. I want to stick around and have enough of a potential run for pre-market ending. For the market open, yeah, we got to cut it now. So we lost like 60 bucks. Could have been worse. I'm definitely not happy about it, but honestly, I should have longed there digital. I think my mistake is, right, I'm trying to take larger size. And my emotions are just different, to be honest, right? Like this is kind of a burner funded account because I have another one on standby, but I'm not used to taking large size here at all in futures, right? I'm usually okay with making 100, 200 bucks. I need to get okay with making 300 or 400 bucks in these so I can really build up some profit. But it's taken me a little bit. I did a system back testing session where I back tested a lot of different strategies and they work really well. I just have to have the discipline to use it. And one of the things that I've been doing is locking myself out before the open every day. I probably should go back to that. But again, I'm kind of trying to get used to larger size. I'm not a big fan of moving average crossover stuff. I've had my periods where I've traded those, and I just haven't really liked it. We'll buy a little bit here, see if we can go the other way now, but we're going to use 4 contracts max on this one. All right, so we got 4. Little small losses, little base hit losses, so I'm fine with it, but I definitely don't read the market well in pre-market, and this is one of my weaknesses in terms of skill, is I never do well in pre-market, right? Like the whole reason I had that huge green streak in one of my accounts is because I never traded pre-market. I just waited. It might be something where if I'm trading in pre-market, I should be looking at like stock positions and then waiting for the opening bell to hit first before I start going heavy into regular stocks. And I think that's something that I'm going to have to pivot to because I've been trying to work on scaling larger size up, but yeah. Oh, 100%. I just have to get used to scaling larger size, absolutely. I probably shouldn't trade pre-market as well. If I trade just the opening bell, I'm usually pretty good, pretty accurate. But yeah. The problem is I think I'm going too big too early, and then anytime it goes against me, I'm getting nervous, and so I'm cutting it and getting out instead of just letting it work. But we'll work on it more after the opening bell.
So my upward direction honestly would have worked. Look at that move. But again, I'm going to just wait until the opening bell in 25 minutes. Trust Michael Saylor knew what he was doing with MicroStrategy. More good news coming. Yeah, for sure. Hey, nice Kane. Congrats, man. Good job, dude. And again, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step gives you a demo. They test your skill. I'm lucky I have Top Step, honestly, because if I was trading my own money, I would have lost so much more, right? Like, the reality is this is incredibly useful, incredibly profitable for traders. If you're good enough as a trader, you can take money out, withdraw, fund your own account. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The base one is $49. It's honestly a pretty solid. It's the best deal in funding, in my opinion. Right, in my opinion. I don't want Top Step X. I just want topstep.com. There you go. Yeah, so if you look at this here, right? They've paid out over $180 million since 2020. They've funded almost 90,000 accounts in November. Been around for over 12 years. Here's the rules, right? You got to make $3K in profit on a $50K demo without losing $2K first with 5 contracts. 5 contracts is plenty, especially regular mini contracts. That's a ton of size. You could lose $1,000 with 3 contracts, mini contracts in the NASDAQ, and so in like seconds. And so this is plenty of size. 2 to 3 reasonable ratio. If you do this, they fund you 50K, 90% split. If you fail, you only lose this, right? It's a reasonable, like, best of both worlds scenario. And most day traders lose. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow, most day traders lose. And that's probably the same here. But frankly, it's a lot cheaper to lose here than it is to fund your own account trying to look cool. And so this is a way to limit your risk. If I was starting over, I would never trade real money. I would never trade real money in the beginning. Most day traders lose, right? If you deposit 10K, you're probably losing 10K. No new trader has risk management. This is just a way to limit your risk, learn how to day trade, still have some pressure. The futures market, you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, currencies in some ways. And again, the big edge is that there's zero commission, right? Like, look, the big edge is that there's literally no commissions. Look, 0 commissions here. And so I can lose 15, 20, 16, 14, 9, 0 commission. I can earn 9, 10, 11, $12 and still net profit. Huge edge, huge edge. Again, if you want to check it out, they are an affiliate of mine. I am biased for sure because I get paid by them. But genuinely a good thing for traders, in my opinion. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. All right. Tesla deliveries were bad. They were not good. They were low. Tesla PE ratio currently is high, and it's had a monster pullback, a monster pullback. I would just be careful. Let's see if we can dig ourselves out of this hole this morning. Some people have been telling me I should trade regular mini contracts too. I don't know. No, you can trade a bunch of micros, Rich. You can trade more than 5 micros. You can't trade more than 5 minis. You can trade more than 5 micros, though. I lost over 100K trading in my first 1.5 years. Honestly, and that's most traders, right? Like, people who lose like to blame whomever they can. But genuinely, it limits your risk. You still have some pressure. You pass it, you get a 90% split. Your first 10K, you fail it, you lose less than you would funding your own account most of the time, right? And losing that, right? It's the best of both worlds. It's a good industry, but losing traders that lose money and blame whomever they can, like, they cry about it too much. You take a bunch of dumb trades, it's your fault. It's not your platform. It's not anybody else's fault. I take a bunch of dumb trades, it's my fault. It's, whomever else, it's not their fault. Yeah, I don't trade minis at all. I trade a bunch of micros. All right, let's do this. The new year, chat. It's time. We got 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes left.
right, so we're dipping down again. I'm gonna hold off until the open bell. I'm not gonna take too much until the open. I'm gonna wait. You guys ready for the opening bell? You guys red or green today? I'm slightly red. We're going to try to make it back after the opening bell, but we're not going to take too much risk. It is Friday. A lot of the time we get choppiness on Fridays. So, yeah. Yeah, join our Discord. Completely free. Doesn't cost a penny. You can hang out with us there. Hope you guys had a happy new year. Dude, apparently, like, mewing is, like, a good thing for kids. Like, my son and his little cousin, they've been doing, like, this, you know, for, like, the whole vacation. That's what they were doing. I mean, I'm glad my son's not going to be, like, a mouth breather, right? Because I think the whole point of it is that you shouldn't be breathing out of your mouth regularly. It builds your chin line and your jaw line up, I think. But who knew it was so big, man? I don't know. I'm just not cool enough these days, I guess. Red for me today. Went up for size. See how I do, but it's not going my way so far. It's all good, Tiny. It happens, you know. Solana doing great. Yeah, I've heard about Solana. All right, we got 15 minutes. 15 minutes. We got ISM Manufacturing PMI at 10. We're going to stream that live as we always do. Yep. All right, guys. So anything else I should be paying attention to today? I'm not really looking at it. I'm kind of glancing at different news from around the world.
Rivian Q4 deliveries came in at 14,183. They expected 13. So Rivian actually did better than expected. Is Rivian gapping up now? Yeah, Rivian's gapping up to almost 14. I didn't see this today. So EV news, Rivian delivered 14,183 vehicles for Q4. They expected 13.5K. In 2024, they total delivery, or they had total production numbers of just under 50K. They delivered 51.5K. They says that shortage of shared components on R1 and RCV platforms no longer a constraint on production now. And I've seen a lot of Rivians driving around in my area too, so good news for Rivian. I wonder if that's benefiting Amazon stock since they do own a piece. And Amazon has been doing great as well. Let's see what else we got. Alcohol stocks fall across the board after U.S. Surgeon General advises on cancer risks. Alcohol consumption is the third leading preventable cause of cancer in the U.S. after tobacco and obesity, says Dr. Vivek Murthy. Yeah, I'm not a drinker. But, you know, water's wet. Guys, water's wet is basically what he's saying. Market's pushing up to 21.3s here, chat. 21.3 thousand here. Should have held that long. Remember, I was long like right here, literally at the bottom. I just got to have more confidence in my stuff. But markets are pumping up. Route just broke over that big support level here. Still continuing to rise right now, chat. 20 minutes left, or 10 minutes left until the opening bell. Nah, men definitely don't need to drink more. Ascending wedge looking to short a buy climax. If you only put one money, if you could only put money in one stock the next 10 years, what stock will it be? I would probably go with like Microsoft or Apple, one of those two. Apple's big, selling computers, selling phones, regardless of whether numbers are up or down. Apple is, almost everybody in the US has an Apple phone. Objectively true. Young people love Apple. It's poised to grow over the next 10 years, of course. Microsoft for a similar thing, operating system wise. Most people have Microsoft operating systems on their PCs and their laptops and stuff. But both of those tech companies, they're going to benefit from AI. They're going to benefit from quantum computing to a certain extent. They're all going to benefit from tech sectors, rise, fall, new technology, everything like that. And so if I had to pick one, that's what I would pick. They're going to benefit from AI. They're going to benefit from quantum. They're going to be fine for the next 10 years. So it'd be Apple, Microsoft, one of those two probably. Maybe Amazon. Amazon's not a bad pick as well. Almost everybody in the country uses Amazon regularly. And so Amazon's going to continue to grow, of course. They're going to, just in terms of like the need for that type of convenience around the world is here and people use it. And so one of those three, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, one of those. People like to speculate on Apple's demise. They're like, oh, Apple's going to fail, bro. The iPhone wasn't as cool as they thought it would be. None of that freaking matters, dude. What matters is new generations are using it. And I could buy my daughter a freaking Samsung brand new phone or a 6-year-old Apple phone. She's going to pick the Apple. I've said this over and over again. That means young people want Apple. That means new generations are going to use Apple. And it's going to grow and grow and grow and grow. Not super difficult to see either. Markets are still running up. Look, we're at 286 on the NASDAQ here. 286. RTX's Raytheon has been awarded a $946 million contract to provide additional Patriot air defense systems to Romania. Yeah, Apple's going to be freaking huge, man. Again, I genuinely question people's intelligence who bet against the healthiest companies in the world and act like they're just going to fail. You know, like 4 months ago, people told me that Apple was going to fail. It was going to get booted out of the Mag 7 and like all this craziness. And then Apple just breaking lifetime high after lifetime high. And it's just, I genuinely wonder people's like how deep people can think about this, you know? Because if you can look at a company like Apple and think that they're weak long term, that's just a silly thing. Like, it's ridiculous. Anybody should be able to look at Apple and say, hey, they got young people using their devices. That means future adults are going to use their devices, selling computers. Margins are good. Revenue's good. They're going to be around, you know. Well, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be outliers, Jim, but outliers are outliers, right? Like, in general, most kids want an Apple device. I would say, what, like 20% of people have Samsungs, you know? That number might go up or down. Apple's still going to be fine. All right, guys, 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Year over year, isn't their revenue going down? I mean, it depends on how you look at it, right? Like, seasonality plays a factor. Like, you can look at the history of this chart right here and look at it and say, and see the seasonality of it, right? So Apple does a couple things. Big move, consolidates. Big move, consolidates. A little bit more consolidation. Big move, like really big move, consolidation. Things are not going to go straight up, right? But if you say, hey, what's the next step in this pattern? Most people are going to say this right here, you know? And so big move, consolidation, big move, consolidation. That's normal. You can't see the big moves and then spot the consolidation and then act like the consolidation is somehow like weakness whenever it's very consistent in terms of long-term trend. You know, and I think some people just like to bet against companies. But I'll say it again: if you're trying to top pick the healthiest companies in the world, somewhere you've been misled, most likely, right? There's a small percentage of people that might be able to actually do it successfully. It's definitely not everybody, and most people are going to lose trying to top pick the healthiest companies in the world. It's just not the biggest edge scenario. It's much better to buy instead of sell long term. Markets are ripping up with that setup. 293s, 294s. Speaking of Apple, where's Apple at? Yeah, people were saying this thing about Apple when Apple was at 210s, 195s, 210s for Apple. So you can see the runs it's made since then. Markets are rebounding back though. What do you think of Ford at 5-year lows? It might be some opportunity to dip by it there, but I'm not telling you to do it. I have no idea what it's going to do. I think Ford's going to be fine long term because I think even if it fails, it's going to get bailed out. But you know, it's got its niche, you know, and so I think it'll still probably be fine. But who knows? You know, I tend to like buying it, but who knows where it's going to go? I really don't know long term. Nvidia is just up because the rest of the market's up. Nvidia tapped 140s. They're starting to get some strength. Let me see if Nvidia... I don't think Nvidia has any news. We got less than 4 minutes, chat. Less than 4 minutes. Oil prices are higher. Institute of Supply Management Manufacturing PMI dropping at 10 a.m. That's a big report, too. I think that might actually move markets more than it normally does here.
So I think that might move markets more than it normally does. We'll have to wait and see, but it's coming out. John, I generally agree that Apple isn't going anywhere, but I think your subjectivity is clouding their actual popularity. In the U.S., Apple has 56% of market share, not 80%, while Android 70% globally. Yeah, but you're taking U.S. market share and then comparing it with Android 70% globally, right? Like, what is Android's market share in the U.S.? Right, like, listen, I'm not acting like I'm wrong. So, yeah, Android has less than 50%. They have about 45%. And so, I don't know. I think young people are what you want to look at in terms of judging the future strength or weakness of a company like Apple. And I think when you look at young people, a large majority of them are going to go for Apple. And once somebody starts to use an Apple device, they almost never change, especially in terms of mobile devices, right? And so... And again, this is coming from a Samsung user. Like, I have a Z Fold, right? Like, I don't even have an Apple. But when I'm looking at strength or weakness, you know, yeah. When I'm looking at strength or weakness, I like Apple long term. I think Apple's going to be fine long term. But you might be right. I might have been wrong about the percentages, and that's definitely true. It looks like I was wrong about the percentages. I didn't, honestly, I didn't actually know. I was just throwing a number out there. And it does look like I overestimated the percentage of Apple versus Android. Regardless of that, though, I still like Apple. And I still think, like, we're talking about not just, when I say I like Apple long term, I'm not just talking about stocks that I think are going to go up. I'm talking about stocks that I think are not going to fail, right? Like, I don't want an obsolete company. I don't want a company that's going to be rendered obsolete by technology growth, like Dish, right? Like Dish on Demand or whatever other company is rendered obsolete. And so when I say I like Apple, I like it not just because potential increases in price, but because the lack of risk is that, if that makes sense, right? But still, there's always some risk, and you know, maybe I'm wrong. I could be. I don't know. Anyways, guys, market's about to open up right now. Y'all be safe. Good luck. For sure, Tim. I agree. Robot year. All right, here's the opening bell. Good luck, guys. All right, there's the market open. Dips so far at the opening bell. I'm going to wait 5 minutes. NVIDIA just ripped over highs of the day. That's at 140.47 is the new high. It's at 140 still, over 140s. Let's see if it holds. I tend to like a long here, but do not copy me, not an investment professional. I just think NVIDIA is going to try to hold over 140, and that might make things go up, and we are going up so far. Who knows, though? I could be wrong. And NVIDIA might not hold over 140. You never know. The opening bell is volatile. Yep, there's some increases. Well, we were right there, but still a little early to tell. All right, just broke highs of market opens again. NVIDIA pushing up to almost 141s. There's some big movements here, still heading up. All right, we're at 340s. We're at 141.30s for NVIDIA, 141.30s. MicroStrategy clamping up. Yeah, a lot of stuff's popping up. NVIDIA up to almost 142s. So we have some upward movement for sure. Palantir ripping. Yeah, Palantir up to 76.20s here, making moves. Again, I'm waiting for the first 5 minutes to pass at least. How will the ISM Manufacturing PMI impact the NASDAQ? I mean, nobody knows. I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody does. Anybody that tells you an answer there. I mean, it might. I think it's going to move markets. I don't know which way, though. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll cover it live as soon as it drops. So stick around. Like, we're going to cover it live as soon as it happens. But regarding which way it's going to move markets, nobody knows. I mean, you got a 50-50 shot, but I'm not going to pretend to know just to try to look cool on the internet. All right, markets are running here. I told you guys I thought we might be upward moves here right at the opening bell. I saw Nvidia starting to rise, and that's what made me want to buy, or made me think markets were going up. I'm gonna wait though. We're still about 4 minutes into the open. I gotta let 5+ minutes pass first before I trade. Yeah, this is a lot of green. A lot of green. Palantir ripping. Nvidia. Nvidia is what's driving this. Nvidia up to almost 142s right now. So Nvidia is what's driving it. It's had 4 really nice green candles on Nvidia right at the opening bell, chat. Right at the open. Markets have flew. Let's see when we get the dip. We're 4 minutes into the day so far. 4 minutes. I mean, ETH is ripped. ETH was at 994s in 2022. It's now at almost 4,000. It's ripped. Depends on your definition, though, I guess, yeah. I mean, ETH ripped up from 1,800 at the end of 2023. Basically, at the start of 2024, a year ago, ETH was at 2,000. It's now at almost 4,000. It's up almost 100%, sir. I would call that a rip, but I guess it's a subjective definition. 100% move is nothing. I mean, listen, I disagree, but it's all good, brother. It's all good. Let's see if we break highs again. We got this 1 minute red candle here. We got Nvidia finally dipping down to 141s. I'm going to let things settle here before I start taking some trades. Start looking at some longer term support or resistance levels based around where we currently are. I need to clear this chart. How do I clear this chart, guys? Is there a way to clear? I want to clear these charts. There's too much lines on my chart here. I got to get rid of it. I'll leave this level here. I want to see. I think this is a level right here. We could probably call. We're documenting some levels here. Probably call this one too. We can look above us. Let's see. This is a level 2 here. Okay. So far, so good. Bitcoin went from 16K to 108. That's a rip. I mean, listen, like I said, it's all good. It's all good, man. Well, I know how to delete each individual support or resistance line. I'm seeing if there's a way I can just clear them out, and you know, that's really what I want. So let's see if we. All right, so we're back up here, chat. We're back up. All right, we're getting close to highs again. Here, chat, we're getting so close to highs again. We're waiting. We're taking larger size. NVIDIA just broke highs again, basically back up to just under 142s. Let's see what Apple does here. Palantir ripping up here at 77s. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla still falling. Or no, Tesla up again today, back up to 380s. A lot of stuff's up. All right, NVIDIA tapped highs and then retraced all the way back down, though. I don't like that at all. I'm going to take 3 contracts here. There we go. All right, nice. So we just made about 40 bucks. I will take that. Yeah, we made over 40. We made about $45 just now. Caught the retracement rip back up. So far, so good. NVIDIA is still pushing over highs. I think NVIDIA wants 142s, but who knows? So I'm still thinking about long, but I'm not sure yet. Still thinking about a long. I think it'll probably move up, but who knows? Let me take a... it's too late. I was almost about to buy one contract. See, it's just too late. I missed it. See if it's just a liquidity grab, though. You got to be careful for those. NVIDIA's still churning, though. Tesla's still moving. Tesla at 387s. Palantir flying up. Apple's a little red on the day, though, but we just broke highs of the day again. Or at least, yeah, we just broke highs of the day again. Still moving. There's NVIDIA. Just tapped that 142 level I thought it wanted. Very strong strength here. I'm going to short this now. We're running into that resistance area. Just one contract, though. We're going to keep it light. Maybe add to it. All right, we got 2 contracts now. Definitely a risky move here, shorting the top. And lost a little bit there now. See if we can add our size back here. All right, so we're in 4 contracts now, 4. See if we can get that retracement that we want, that dip. We took half off up there. So there we go. Took another piece off. There we go. Okay, not bad. Caught the top. Got in a little bit early on that top break, but that's okay. Still got out. NVIDIA looks like it might make another push, though, but we're going to be... let's watch this support level that we have. It's right around this spot. There we go. Bouncing directly off of that drip, that support level we drew. My levels have been pretty solid so far. See if they continue to prove themselves. Still got 20 minutes before ISM PMI releases. 20 minutes. Oh, this right here. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it after I'm done. I already got some levels on the day. I don't want to lose those levels here, to be honest. Looks like we might come down a little bit. But who knows? My support level here might hold, but it looks like we might hit my monitor. My dog's in the front yard. It wants to hold, but I'm watching NVIDIA. The only thing I see that I like is Apple, honestly. Apple looks like it's trying to make a move. So I'm going to buy one contract here. Just one. Very small. I'm going to try to keep it a long-term trade. Apple looks like it wants to go up. We got the support level underneath this. NVIDIA's trying to get higher here. So we'll hold one little contract, a little risk, tiny risk, longer-term trade here. See if we can make some more from a small risk. We break underneath this level here. We're just going to cut it for a small loss. Not the end of the world.
We're watching Apple here. There goes Nvidia. There goes Apple. See if it tries to shake us out first. I don't think I mean, things could always change, but there goes Apple. There we go. I just made a little $30 there from one contract. I'll take it. My thesis was correct. You can't pass it in one day, digital. It takes 2 days. You can only make 50% of your profit per day. So if you're in a base combine, you can only make $1,500 per day. Approximately. You can make like $1,550 usually, or $1,450. But all right, so look, there goes Apple. I told you guys Apple looks strong, and now Apple's trying to go green on the day. Apple's at 244s roughly right now. 244s right around the previous close. Nvidia's still pushing up to almost 143s. Looking good. Honestly, my portfolio's looking pretty solid too today, so that's nice. A nice random. No, I mean, you can make 1550 and they'll call it 50%. So you can pass it in 2 days. I've done it multiple times. Like you can make 1460, 1430 and they'll call it 50%, and then if the next day you make it to 3K, they'll pass you, right? You just can't make like 1800 one day and then 1200 the next. That's way over 50%. So that's kind of the rules. All right, Nvidia has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green candles in a row here, chat. 10 green candles in a row. All right, guys, we got ISM PMI in 15 minutes, chat. ISM PMI in 15 minutes. ISM Manufacturing PMI, guys. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. We still got 500 people or so here. Get rid of this. Okay. All right, guys. 15 minutes, 15 minutes. Almost there here, chat. Almost there. I've slowed down trading. We've made some money since the opening bell. And now we're just kind of sitting tight waiting for some good edge to show up so we can try to make some money here. Gonna wait until 10 a.m. We got a little dip now. Nvidia's had 3 or like 10 green candles in a row. Apple's still looking pretty strong. It's right at that previous closing price though. So if we do bounce, it's going to be Apple trying to reclaim green on the day, and that's certainly possible. Look at this support level, bro. We drew this level here, and this thing was incredibly accurate. Incredibly accurate. Hold on, is that my dogs barking? bro. My dogs are savages, bro. They just bark at whomever they can. All right, look at this dip. So we did fall underneath this big support level that we drew. That's a bad sign. I think we needed to correct a little bit, though. We've gone so green at the opening bell. Like, we're not going to go straight up. And I think the whole market could also be waiting for manufacturing PMI's release here. You know, so I think the market could be waiting. Look at that dip. Should I buy it? I should have bought this support level here. Should have bought that dip. Look at that support level hold, man. I need a grip. Like, I certainly need to build this into my system where every day in that first 5 minutes I draw out the opening levels that I'm watching. Because, like, it's never going to hold perfectly. Like, this level just might dump underneath it here. But it has that initial bounce. Like, look at that. It popped all the way back up. And so that edge, just in terms of, like, movement, is important. Now we're coming back down. We'll watch this level here. What level is this based off of? Okay, I do like that level. We'll see if it holds. All right, some deep red action here. Deep red action. All right, so we're going to start to add to this. We'll take some size if we need to. But if we get a quick little $20 profit, we'll take it. We just took it, so. Pretty good accuracy since the opening bell. I don't think we've lost since the open. Bitcoin is turning into a stable coin? Nah, man. I predicted we'd consolidate indefinitely in the 90s. I think that's pretty obvious. Like, you know, the move of markets is this, guys, right? If something's strong, it goes like this. It goes up big, consolidates for an extended period. Sometimes it dips more and then makes another run and goes up big and then consolidates for an extended period, right? I don't think, like, in these phases, or even here, right, I don't think it's time to call it weak. I think it's just, like, if you want it to continue running, it needs to level out for a little bit to avoid exhaustion crashes, right? Yeah, no, the consolidation could certainly take months, if not years, for Bitcoin. That's how it goes. Sometimes the consolidation is the best time to buy it, right? Like, Bitcoin had one of the most obvious trends. Nvidia just broke highs again. Nvidia got up to 143s, right? But if we look at Bitcoin here as an example, Bitcoin had one of the most obvious sideways ranges I've ever seen anything have. Like, I was talking about it when it was happening here all of last year. Bitcoin had one of the most obvious ranges that I've ever seen in any security ever, right? Like, look at this. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Like, one of the most clear ranges. You know, and people are just milking it, buying here, buying here, buying here, buying here. Super easy predictions. One of the most technically driven charts I've ever seen. Well, your TV probably has internet latency problems. All right, guys. Apple dipping some today, consolidating. I don't like the market as much now. Nvidia's still dragging it up, but still. All right, chat. We got 9 minutes before ISM Manufacturing PMI's release. It's 9 minutes. Again, if you want to day trade with me, check out Top Step. Here's the link. Top Step gives you a demo. Test your skill with the demo. You pass the test with the demo. They fund you with the regular account between 50K up to 150K. 90% split once you're funded, and you get to keep your first 10K. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The base one's $50, basically $49. Great way to learn how to day trade because your risk is limited to $50. It's not the end of the world. And really taking the challenge builds your skill, teaches you how to trade, follow rules. But your risk is limited. If you pass it, you get a 90% split with 10K. You get to keep your first 10K in profit fully. And that's similar to funding your own account 10%. So limited risk, but similar to funding your own account in terms of split if you're good enough to pass it. Great way to learn how to day trade, great way to build skill, and a great way to get started if you don't have that much money. And they've paid out over $180 million since 2020. They fund thousands of traders. If you want to check it out, here's the link. They are an affiliate of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. Do not copy me. Confirm everything with them. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. All right. So I think the market could be choppy now leading into ISM data. I see Nvidia starting to chop. I see Apple starting to chop. And I see the NASDAQ starting to slow down some here, chat. And so I think we have ISM Manufacturing PMI data dropping in 8 minutes. Less than 8 minutes, about 7 minutes now, actually. I'll put a timer up. And so I think that's what we're getting here, is we might start to chop down. Yeah, we got about 7 minutes left until this release. 7 minutes. All right, guys. Apple at 243s. Yes or no on this song, guys? I don't know how to feel about it. I like the I like the beat in the background. I do not like the talking over it. It's definitely hyped up music. I just don't know if I like the talking over it. Yeah? No? Good. Type yes or no in chat right now if you like it or dislike it. We're going to end this poll. We're going to do another poll. We got 6 minutes left. Will manufacturing PMI help or hurt markets? Vote on the poll. Yes, no, yes, yes, no, no. We got one of the most polarized answers, whether you like the song. My guess is like the younger people like it. The older people are like, get off my lawn type stuff. Right, 100%. I agree. I like techno music and EDM and electronic music. And when I hear somebody critique it too much, I just kind of get off my lawn vibes. It's not like I picked out this song or anything. I'll block everybody that says yes. All right, chat. Hey, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Looking at our poll, 60% of people think PMI is going to help markets. 43% think it's going to hurt markets. And that percentage is actively changing if you look at the votes going on the top of the chat. Currently, we're at 56-44. 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes. Again, I'm going to halt my trading right now. Yeah, please don't spam. Yeah, I don't know what that is, Hearn. Not sure, brother. NASDAQ, Nvidia just broke highs of the day again. Still heading up. Any super micro semiconductor news? No, not really. I don't see any fundamental news, just technical stuff. Yeah, I like AMD long term. Short term, who freaking knows? All right, chat. We got 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes. We got a timer in the top left. Nvidia's been driving markets. Apple's kind of flat, almost perfectly flat on the day. It is a Friday too. All right, guys. Looking at our poll numbers now that we have about 100 votes already. 61% say help, 39%. So we're about 60-40. Good, bad reactions to this. Vote on the poll. You got about 2 minutes left to do it. Less than that now, but vote on the poll. Yeah, I mean, I like AMD. I think considering Intel's weakness and how weak Intel stock has been, I like AMD. But I also think that you could call all of them extended. Yeah, y'all slap the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We got a minute and 20 seconds before ISM PMI comes out. Yeah, I think these might move markets too, and I think markets are kind of waiting for this report to drop. I'm going to put like gold up here. We'll put the NASDAQ, gold, and NVIDIA up to see how these move that. 1 minute left, chat. We got less than a minute now. Less than a minute. Here we go. ISM expected at 48.2 roughly. I'm showing basically 48 expectation here. Yeah, basically 48 is what I'm showing. We got about 25 seconds left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream here, chat. Fully caught up. 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Or we got about 12 seconds left, actually. Hit the live button next to the play button. Here we go. 1 second left. And here's the report. ISM PMI showed up at 49, stronger manufacturing than expected at 49 versus 48 expected. 49.3 technically versus 48.2 expected. Higher than expected, more strength in manufacturing than expected, with ISM PMI showing 49.3 versus 48.2 expected. We also had higher than expected manufacturing prices at 52.5 versus 51.5 expected. So higher than expected manufacturing PMI data at 49.3 versus 48.2 expected, roughly 48 expected. Now we'll put all this stuff up on screen so you can see it, but PMI data showed 49.3 versus 48.2 or something expected, so better than expected. Market hasn't really moved from this. Moved less than I thought it would, to be completely honest. And we'll put this at the top of the screen here so you guys can see it. There is the PMI data at the very top of the screen at 49.3 versus 48.4 expected. So I'm showing anywhere between 48, 48.2, 48.4. Are you buying this dip? Right? Sometimes the first move is the wrong move. The only thing I could say is like strength in manufacturing could mean inflation woes and fears. Right? But generally, it's better for the economy to have strength in manufacturing. So I would buy this normally, and I think this might be a little fake out candle, and we might head up. But who freaking knows? Right? I'm going to buy this. It's kind of a risky time, but it's okay. We'll play around. We got 4 contracts here. We're working on larger size, and I think we might head up from this report. I'm going to give it a second, chat, but I'm definitely not loving this right now. Let's see if we can retrace back up. Come on, give us some green. There we go. I took half off there just to protect it. I'll let the rest run a little bit longer, but I wanted to hold on to my green after the open. Or a third off there, actually. There we go. Boom. There we go. So I definitely made my money back.
You love to see it. I would have made much more too, but we're actually green on the day now, so we got ourselves green on that dip buy. I thought it would bounce. We honestly would have made more if we would have held on to that last little piece, but we made about $100 net on that trade, so I'll take it. Pretty good deal. Also, guys, if you haven't checked out Top Step, again, I'm day trading on Top Step, a 50K funded account. I made it by making 3K in profit on a 50K demo without losing 2,000 first, following their rules and conditions. Great way to learn how to day trade, get experience in day trading without risking too much. You know, $50 to try the challenge. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account. You get to keep your first 10K in profit moving forward, and then 90% split afterwards. It's just a great way to learn. Most day traders lose. Even if you're day trading stocks and that's what you're used to, most pro day traders trade futures over stocks. And the big edge, if you sign up, is 0 commission on Top Step X. And so if you look at all this, right, this is my stats on the day, 0 commission, right, 0 commission. That's the biggest edge in funding right now. Top Step's the most legit in the world. They've paid out over 180 million since 2020. They fund thousands of traders, and the patterns are super similar to like blue chip day trading stock patterns. So again, if you want to check them out, here's the link. Not too shabby there. I'll take the green. I'll take the green. We'll see if we can keep this up. Keep it moving here, guys. There's the green. Again, I told you guys the first move a lot of the time is the wrong move. Manufacturing PMI showed stronger manufacturing numbers than expected here. So we are now heading up. I was absolutely correct. We're now green on the day. And again, guys, honestly, today proves that I should not trade pre-market. Listen to me, guys. Listen to me good, okay? If I try to trade pre-market next week, slap me in the face, okay? If I try to trade pre-market, yell at me. Do whatever you got to do so I don't trade pre-market. I'm serious. Do not let me trade pre-market next week. Honestly, I've lost money trying to trade pre-market the last few days because I was in Disney World and I knew I wouldn't be able to stream the open, so I was trading early. Do not let me trade pre-market next week, guys. I just can't do it. If I trade pre-market, I got to trade stocks or something else, not my actual futures, because I suck trading before the opening bell. I genuinely do. Do not let it happen, guys. Do not let it happen. Since the opening bell, guys, literally since the opening bell, I'm running like, let me see. You can see this. Since the opening bell. Yeah. Since the opening bell, I have gone, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trades. I've lost 3 out of 13. That's over 75% since the opening bell. That's where my edge is. That's what I got to do. I got to stick to that. Yeah. Listen, slap me like Rick James. Okay? Slap me like Rick James. You know? Game blouses. Slack me like Rick James if I try to trade in pre-market. Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'm out of here. Again, you want to check out Top Step. Link is in the description. Ooh, all right. I'm done. I'm going to get out of here. I love you all. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you guys. Y'all have a safe and happy weekend. Be safe this weekend, guys. A lot of craziness in the world, man. Market's running up a little bit today on this ISM PMI data. So y'all just be good. Have a great day. I love you all. Y'all have a smooth and easy weekend, I hope. I'm going to get some rest this weekend. Again, I've been in Disney World. I'll show you my pictures one more time. You can see how tired I was, honestly, from this trip, dude. I was super tired. You know, went to Disney World this weekend. It was fun. Had a lot of fun, to be honest. Had a lot of fun. There's me, Disney World. There's me and the whole fam. We had a lot of fun. I'm going to see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day.